President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy can't find an agreement on the debt ceiling, so President Biden is going home to Delaware for the weekend. Target is caught in a major lie about parents and their Satan worshiping clothing line for children. Plus, CNN viewers say 4 more years of Biden would be a disaster for the country. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out. At the end of this, I'll make sure to put a link to the $10,000 giveaway that my wife and I are doing, thanks to generous video sponsors. President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are reportedly close to making a deal to raise the debt ceiling limit. Biden and McCarthy just met online for a virtual meeting where they attempted to iron out last minute details. With only 1 week away from a government default, sources familiar with the negotiation report that there's only $70 billion left out of $1 trillion that both sides don't agree on. So it's getting very, very close. Now, despite this, Biden is expressing disappointment over the current state of the negotiations. McCarthy also stated, I don't think everybody's going to be happy at the end of the day. That's not how this system works. Now, Republican Jim Jordan has demanded that the Justice Department turn over documents so that they could investigate bullying allegations concerning whistleblowers. Whistleblowers are supposed to be protected, but instead they're being bullied. Now, Jim Jordan wrote to Attorney General Merrick Garland stating, the timing of the department's removal of the agent and the investigative team raises serious concerns given that the investigation was the subject of the agent's protected whistleblower disclosure. Now, Gary Shapley, a 14-year IRS agent, is one of the people who has stepped forward to expose the Department of Justice. Shapley claims he was removed from an investigation concerning President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, after it was found out that he was the whistleblower. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis is having a hard time finding creative ways to differentiate himself from Donald Trump after announcing his presidential bid earlier this week. Now, for instance, he's already off to a bad start as Trump just accused him of stealing his previously used Great American Comeback tagline. Do you think DeSantis will be able to differentiate himself from Donald Trump, as the Democrats have labeled him a mini Trump as he tries to move forward as a presidential candidate? Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm always interested to read what you have to say. CNN has just announced that they will be holding a Republican presidential town hall with former Vice President Mike Pence on June 7th. Pence previously stated if he has an announcement to make, it will be late June, which seems to indicate that he is seriously considering running for president. Now, I have to say, this is going to be a really interesting presidential campaign, especially on the Republican side, as you have many people jumping in that, unless Donald Trump is arrested, may not have enough votes in order to secure the Republican vote down the road. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens over the next few months. Now, speaking of CNN, which by most viewers' standards is considered a left-leaning media outlet, has recently released a new poll asking how good it would be for the country if Joe Biden was president for 4 more years. Now, you can tell by the way they worded that they were hoping this would come back positive, but it didn't. 66% of CNN viewers said it would be a setback or a disaster for the country. Yikes. If it's that bad over on CNN, I would hate to see what Fox News viewers said if they were given a similar poll. Even CNN viewers see Biden as a less than desirable candidate for 2024. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer claims that a subpoenaed FBI informant file suggests President Joe Biden's involvement in a bribery scheme that involves $5 million from when he was vice president. Now, Comer expressed his frustration with the FBI's refusal to provide the file in a letter to FBI Director Christopher Wray. He warned that if the file is not given, he may hold the FBI in contempt of Congress. The letter also revealed that the whistleblower's tip was given on June 30th of 2020 and connects the alleged bribe to the Biden family's activities to the country of Ukraine, including Hunter Biden's work for energy company Burisma. Now, Vice President Biden's support for Ukraine's natural gas industry is pretty well documented in public. But let me know in the comments, why do you think that the FBI would try to bury these allegations that came out on June 30th of 2020? So about 5 months before the presidential election. Seems like the FBI's been holding back a lot of things lately. Now, Comer highlighted the FBI's resistance to sharing the informant's file and mentioned the Justice Department's potential interference in the tax probe of Hunter Biden, which I told you about earlier. Now, he expressed his dissatisfaction and stated that he would take action to hold the FBI in contempt if the file is not given. Now, Mike Davis, founder of the pro-Trump Article 3 project, stressed the importance of holding the FBI accountable and making reform to restore trust in its fairness and impartiality as a basically law enforcement division of the United States government. Now, in response, the FBI stated that it values the protection of confidential sources to safeguard ongoing investigations and lives. While they are committed to cooperating with Congress's oversight request, they emphasize the need for security and confidentiality. Comer's efforts reflect his determination to obtain the informant file, which he believes could shed light on a possible bribery scheme involving then Vice President Joe Biden. The FBI's refusal has raised concerns about transparency and accountability, leading for the call to reform the FBI as an entire body. Now, the situation is ongoing, and I'll let you know whether they turn that over or whether they hold the FBI in contempt. As Russia struggles to maintain peace in their own country, Vladimir Putin has signed a deal with the neighboring country of Belarus that will allow them to place nuclear weapons in Belarus. Belarusian Defense Minister Viktor Krenin defended the decision, stating, "Deployment of non-strategic nuclear weapons is an effective response to the aggressive policy of countries unfriendly to us." So basically, they said it's good for Belarus to have access to nuclear weapons on behalf of Russia. Now, that's very scary, but that's what was being said. Ukraine's intelligence service has claimed that Putin is indeed on their kill list. Deputy Vadim Shibitsky stated, "Putin is noticing that we are getting closer and closer to him," and explained he's number one on their kill list because he coordinates and decides what happens against Ukraine. Shibitsky detailed that they have been unsuccessful thus far simply due to Putin being holed up. It has been reported that Putin is a very anxious man who has stayed locked in his secured palace. So I doubt they'll be able to get access to him, as getting near the Kremlin would be very difficult. But this does lend to the conspiracy that it was Ukraine that hit the Kremlin with those drones a couple of weeks ago. Now, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky surprised graduates from Johns Hopkins University in the United States with a virtual speech. Zelensky stated that the time is the most valuable resource on the planet. However, the speech took a bit of a turn when he claimed that his troops on the front line and the graduate students have similar hopes for life, but came to the unfortunate conclusion that his troops don't have control over the time that they have. In the end, Zelensky came to the sobering conclusion that all of our tomorrows and the tomorrow of our children and grandchildren depends on each of our todays. Now, 2 days ago, I told you about how Target store was basically saying that they were being harassed and that their employees were being threatened. Now, this has to do with people boycotting Target for hiring a Satan worshiping clothing designer who was hired to create children's clothing in support of the LGBTQQ2SA community. Well, Target said they pulled this clothing uh, out because their employees' lives were in danger because of outrageous parents, Christian organizations, and conservative groups. But this all turned out to be a giant lie that was proven by leaked emails. The truth is, the bottom line was that Target lost $9 billion in revenue in 1 week as parents refuse to shop at Target because they feel that their children are either being groomed or targeted. So Target not only lied to the media and cried wolf, but they tried to slander the parents and religious groups as violent and dangerous when the real danger was that they put their wallets away and said, back away from our kids. So there were no parents threatening Target employees. There were no Christian organizations and no conservative groups. That whole thing was a crock of crap for Target to cover up for the fact that they just lost $9 billion and they didn't want their stock to drop. So this whole thing had to do with money and not protecting children and not angry parents. So lots going on, right? Just another day in the daily news. Well, Casey and I are giving away $10,000 thanks to generous video sponsors, and we want to share that money with you. 10 of you from my YouTube community will be chosen at the end of the month, and the winners will be notified via the email used to sign up for the giveaway. I'm not going to contact you in the comments section. I'm not going to ask you to message me on Telegram or through WhatsApp. Those are scammers, so please beware. But those 10 winners will be notified the first week of June for being a winner. Now, before you go, I want to remind you that you are amazing. I appreciate you stopping by. Make sure to check out this super important video and please subscribe to the channel because I want to keep you in the loop on what's really going on in the US economy with President Biden and with Washington, D.C. Hey, there's a lot of places to get your news, so I appreciate you stopping by today, and I will see you on the next video.